Good morning, let's talk. Today's video is titled Where or How Can One Find Luxury in Mauritius? And if you are a returning viewer to this channel, you'll have noticed that I've had a series of Mauritius videos because we have decided to, at least for now, pack it all up, leave Canada and move to Mauritius. For those of you that are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Pam. I'm a lawyer with my own law firm, an entrepreneur with other businesses outside of that, and of course, a luxury lover, which brings us to where can one find luxury in Mauritius? And I have to say, buckle up because you're in for a treat. There is a ton of luxury to be found in Mauritius, and I think that's fueled in part by the birds agree. I think that's fueled in part by the runner-up theme to the channel, which is value-driven conversations, life conversations, touch grass conversations. So the first thing, let's get it out of the door. Of course, conventional luxury exists in Mauritius. We are on the east side of the island now, but in the west, for example, where the capital city is, Port Louis has a Rolex store. Port Louis has a Dior. Port Louis has Hermes. So in terms of the conventional luxuries, of course it's there. In terms of the conventional luxuries, the neighborhood I live in has some of the most expensive houses and rentals and villas in all of Africa, let alone just Mauritius. So again, that's there. The mansions are there. The white glove service is there. All the conventional luxuries are there. In case you are, holding on to the edge of your seat, like talk about Gucci, it's here. You can get your Gucci. Now, what really, though, uniquely adds luxury to Mauritius? Because the designer stores, if you're into that, we can find that in pretty much every country in the world. So what are the spicy luxury facets of Mauritius? That's a bit more what I wanted to talk about because that's what's special. I think one big item, and this is almost counterintuitive because Mauritius is a fairly relaxed lifestyle situation. People are quite calm when they're here. A lot of the visitors are here on vacation, so of course they're going to bring that relaxation vibe with them, but the locals are much more easygoing than locals in other countries as well. For example, in Vienna, you're not going to find locals as relaxed as the locals in Port Louis or Flic-en-Flac, Mauritius. So despite that relaxed lifestyle, I have found that actually with that comes a heightened level of convenience, of infrastructural convenience. And that is something that I would list as a luxury of Mauritius. What do I mean? In Canada, for example, when you're looking to book any sort of remotely specialized test, or even something as simple as a family doctor these days, a family doctor appointment might take you weeks to come across. A specialized test might take you weeks to months for sure. And by specialized, I mean like a cardiologist, neurologist, anything with pregnancy, anything with heightened diseases, things like that. Here, I'm able to WhatsApp my specialized, like ultra specialized doctor, WhatsApp himself, by the way, okay? Not his secretary, not his, excuse me, you can't get through to him right now. Excuse me, there's 17 voicemails and procedures we need to follow. I'm able to WhatsApp message my doctor and tell him, hey, give me your earliest appointment. I have XYZ concern in that specific, specialized facet of healthcare I'm looking for right now. And he'll say, okay, I have an appointment tomorrow or the day after, 8 a.m. or 10:30, you pick one. It's that easy. Part of it is, especially when it comes to the healthcare, because there is a public and privatized healthcare system here, which, yes, listen, as somebody that came from absolutely nothing, of course that sucks. Of course that's classist. Of course that's disgusting in its own ways because it's money. However, as somebody that has worked hard to get to where I am, of course, I'm going to choose the more convenient route if I can afford it. And again, the healthcare system in particular here leads itself to a lot of conveniences. And a lot of conveniences, mind you, that you would have access to in other facets of life as well. Keep in mind, okay, I'm giving you the disclaimer, I'm not commenting on how fair that is. Of course, it's not fair. Well, I guess I just commented on it. I'm commenting on the fact that these avenues are at least available here. In Canada, you could pay all the money you want. I have acquaintances that are like children of billionaires and they cannot be seen because the healthcare system says, wait for your sticker in line, and your number is coming up 8 months from now. So you can have a lot more access to conveniences. I'm being eaten alive by bugs. I have multiple candles here to get like the fire vibe and get them away, hopefully like irritate them a little bit. But every time last time I filmed the video, I had 20 bug bites on my body. Labor of love, honey. Did I mention like and subscribe? Hello. This channel is like literally the favorite part of my day when I film here and share my life with you guys. I do have the TikToks and the Instagrams and all that, but this is more like sit down, talk, get to know each other, learn from each other. So if you're looking for that luxury injection in your life, but of course coupled with like the touch grass approach or the value driven approach, and not just like, look at my new Gucci purse, then this is a channel for you, honey. So give it a subscribe and let's keep growing together. But anyways, access to conveniences here can be had, and I can hear the pushback. As a lawyer, I hear the pushback. Well, Pam, don't rich people have it better everywhere? Sure, they have it better than the less wealthy around them in every country on earth, yes. However, as I highlighted, there are countries where even the wealthy cannot save themselves. So when it comes to certain issues, for example, including healthcare in Canada, here it's different. Here you can go further as a wealthier person. And I imagine, honestly, if we think that through, if all the wealthy are going to the privatized hospitals, I imagine that that is resulting in a more convenient access to healthcare, for example, for those that are not as wealthy either, because you don't have to, the rich people aren't at the hospital, and that's a significant part of the population. You can just, there's less people you have to deal with as well. The third thing, so we talked about the obvious, access. Yes, there's the Rolex store here. We talked about the access to resources is a bit more expedited than in other countries I've experienced, or certainly than you would expect in a country of this easygoing of a lifestyle. The third thing I'm going to talk about is the nature situation. Of course, it is a facet of luxury. Keeping in mind, luxury can be relative, right? I always give the example that in Flint, Michigan, in the great US of A, luxury to someone is going to be clean drinking water. So, of course, there's a facet of luxury in having the great weather always here, access to beaches always here. A fun fact is that the beaches in Mauritius are not privatized, so anybody can swim at any beach, although obviously I've paid the premium to swim where I am, so I stick here primarily. And it's also honestly fairly expensive for me to get off the resort because of how isolated we are from everyone else. But anyways, so it is, the access to nature here is a luxury in and of itself. There's nothing you can do in the peak of winter in Canada to go to the beach. There is nothing you can do in the peak of winter in Montana, in Norway, to go to the beach. And then, of course, there's a lot of countries that are in between that might be like, kind of coat weather, but not freezing weather, but you still can't have the access to nature that Mauritius enjoys year round. I would classify that as a luxury for mental health reasons, for physical health reasons, and just life. That, that little touch of luxury in the nature around us is going to lift up the quality of everything else. The last thing I think I'll talk about, and I think you would be this might be surprising to you, is the food, the quality of food. There's a lot of unique foods, like cooked foods in Mauritius, no doubt, but what I'm talking here is about like the locally grown fruits and vegetables. One side note to the side note is that I'm always surprised when we have fruits and vegetables here that are locally grown. They're always like a little rougher, spikier, less sweet, less modified than the stuff back home. But that's what I'm getting to. The food that grows here naturally, I'm quite sure, is remarkably healthier than the naturally growing foods we have back home. And when you eat better, I mean, hello, I'm fairly certain, that eating better can correlate to a longer life, healthier life. And what greater luxury is there? After all the money in the world, after all the Louboutins in the world, who on their deathbed is wishing for more red bottom shoes? No, you would wish always for more time and, more health to give you that more time. And again, as pertains to the last two luxury inputs we talked about in Mauritius, the nature and the food, it's going to take you to that place of better quality of living overall. And I mean, as somebody, again, that has gone through it all in life, there's no greater luxury at the end of the day. So how's that? We touched on the conventional luxuries, we touched on the luxuries that you might not have thought of so much, and we did it all while in this absolutely gorgeous setting. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.